You may have seen one of the segments I've got on the YouTube channel that you're watching, looking at the fact that, in my opinion, having done experiments, it's mites that cause French Moult, and that's what French Moult looks like, also causes mum to pluck the kids. So you'll notice with this bird that it's got all of its feathers, it hasn't been plucked, and it's certainly got no French Moult or anything else. The reason? Well, as I said in the previous segment, you can put powder under the nesting hollow and then that spray coupette, and then that gets rid of the mites for a while. Remember, as I said in it, you can never eradicate mites, but you can control the numbers. But when you do, this is what happens. That's a healthy baby budgie. Now we're going to look into a nest and just see what did happen when they weren't treated. So this is called the control group, the ones that didn't get the treatment against mites. So we're now in an aviary which is distant from the breeding area that we just looked at. And there's a hen in here that has babies. Now remember, I said in the previous ones that the hens get mites crawling all over them at night. They get frustrated. Just look what she's done to the poor little chicks. Red raw, she's plucked almost every feather out of them. She will keep on doing that. Why? Because she could have as many as 500 mites or more climbing all over her at night and sucking her blood. So this is a control. Everyone there is plucked terribly. And you might say it's cruel to let it happen. Well, if we don't work out how it does happen, we can never stop it. But I've stopped it in my bird room. Now, to see the contrast, these are the birds in my bird room where we have treated for mites. Now, just have a look. Here's a whole bunch. You might notice there's more babies in the group than there was in the other one. And all of them are growing beautiful, fluffy down all over them, and nothing is being plucked. So this was treated to keep mites away. And they're perfect. Every feather's wonderful. And yet in the aviary outside, it's horrible. So it's pretty satisfying to be able to work this out and stop that from happening. So this is Nivea. We showed this Nivea hand cream. We showed this in the previous story on this. Budgies don't like the taste of Nivea. So if you've got a baby being treated like this, you just put the Nivea on them. That usually stops mum from plucking it bald. You probably need to keep, applying it certainly once every few days or once a week, something like that, to absolutely stop mum in her tracks. Look at that. By the way, red raw, it's had all those feathers pulled out. That's about the equivalent of us human beings having our fingernails or toenails pulled out. I mean, this is a seriously horrible thing. But the big problem with Budgerigar breeders, and it really drives me nuts, they'll all have views on what causes or doesn't cause something or all the rest of it. You've got to do a control. If you're testing something, you've got to have another group that you didn't use that test on, because otherwise you'll never know what's working and what's not. So this is one to just prove that Nivea will help a bit, but once we get in and treat these nest boxes so that they've got chemicals that the mites don't like, then we're heading towards a full recovery. But I'm just doing the immediate emergency one. That's got the hand cream on it. By the way, the Nivea isn't poisonous for the budgies, doesn't hurt them. It just stops mum chewing on them all the time because she's driven nuts by all the bloodsuckers on her at night. This is a young baby budgie with French Moult. As you can see, this bird will possibly never fly. It's a nasty disease, but you can manage it. You can make sure that it doesn't happen too much. To say it again, the mites that cause this, they're indestructible, but you can keep their numbers under control and you won't get so many. Now this one, poor little thing, that's got a very severe case of French Moult. When they've got this much feather loss, usually they don't regrow them. But I'm such a sook that when I get birds like this, I put them out of the way in a hospital area and give them a chance. I'll give them 6 months or so, and if they can re-feather, they go back into the aviary. It's not really contagious. What's contagious with this disease, French Moult, is the mites that are around them, because they suck the blood of mum and dad and the babies, and when the babies get that with the little exchange, like with the mosquitoes that cause malaria, those mites that come onto him pass on this disease. By the way, the other one you can probably guess, the other thing with French Moult is that it makes them very angry. I mean, this bird would take my arm off if it could.